Are you guys ready? Group 4.
I ain't got one.
You can send it to my email, go into my email and download it. Email is that little mail right there, the icon. For your chair, you can do two things. One is you take with you, okay? And you can keep it, you can shine it and open the Amazon or eBay account, you can sell it. Handmade or something. People will buy it.
Very cool.
If you don't want to do that, you can also donate it back to the department and we can showcase. So that's our previous work. If you have a defect, I think one of the group has a
Who doesn't
defect,
wanna
all you
talk?
gotta do is just put a trailer. And then you
Whoever
can
don't wanna
shine
talk
it,
can get it.
right? Or paint on it.
Everybody else.
I'll do it if anybody gonna say nothing. What we gotta do?
Holding on, drill it all the way down. And then screw it in all the
Oh,
way
yeah.
down, fill it.
Peer
and
group,
make that stuff big.
Rating 4.
Good.
Yeah, so this is it. So what do we rank on here?
The one with the X, that's our group.
Group 8, yes. So you're gonna find
We got one on the head.
group 6, 4. Yeah.
Wait, hold up. We got one on that's got an X on it.
No, that's 7.
7.
7, tilted. Lawson, I'm looking for
It's a
Lawson.
tilted track. It's a straight S. So what do we rank on here?
So each group is gonna produce 2 questions. So when they are presenting, you sit down and think about it, look at their chair, look at their presentation, and then come up with 2 questions. And we're gonna be challenging them by asking the question, they're gonna answer back, yeah? So we have 4 group grading this group, so we're gonna have altogether 8 questions.
Do we have to email it to you, or can we pull it up on Canvas?
Yes, just email it, because otherwise you will have to sign in.
Yeah, so there's like 3 papers in the paper. What's the paper we got? Like 4 Yeah, I'm gonna get it done this week. Yeah. That dude's still not sending me none. That Jacob guy, he sent me nothing. So I'm probably just gonna finish my little paper out and then
Designed
do that
based off of
conclusion.
the original specs, a little less fragile.
After
That
that.
one looked quite wimpy. So it's 9 by 9 by 7.5. Could hold the average foot size. 300 pounds, which is 10 center block. Designed not to wobble. Here's our production video. And our production members will talk about our process.
Okay.
The best production you can see in a factory, of course.
Robust unit
should put some words in it, so that way people can read it along. But that's pretty nice. All right, let's start with question.
We're not done.
Oh, no,
I guess that's all about it.
continue.
Check the video and everything.
So some of the tools we use for a circular saw, tension cord, drill. We use a 7/64 inch bit to pre-drill the holes for the dowel. When we bought the dowel, we used a softwood so it wouldn't split when we were drilling straight into it. And the plywood we bought, it was pre-sanded and it was thin to keep it lightweight, but we've got something that was also going to be able to hold all the weight that we used.
And also, when we were we looked at our blueprint, of course, and made it to the specs. We tried to, we used a T-square actually to try and square it off the wood as best as we could before we cut, so that it would be as close to spec as we could get it. It was slightly off, but that's, a circular saw is not the most accurate thing in the world. So
One of our limitations too.
that's one of our limitations. When we bought our wooden dowel, we bought a whole piece, all in uniform in one go, and we just cut from there. It made it a little bit cheaper that way. And also, from the circular saw, we had a little bit of a rough edge on it, so we tried to kind of keep that down so that it wouldn't be rough afterwards. So we just kind of like took off that edge to it. That's about it, right?
And then whenever they finished it up and everything, we made sure we did some tests and stuff like that before we came in class and everything. So Jake's made sure he sat on it, so it wouldn't break or anything like that, and then stood on it with his backpack. So it came out to about 270, 300 pounds. So we knew that it would withstand the weight of the center blocks.
And last class, as you witnessed, it was able to withstand the center blocks. Jake stood and standing on it yet again. So, pretty solid.
All right, that's it.
Not done yet.
Oh, yeah, question.
Questions.
How hard was it to get your hole straight when you were going in?
Honestly, it wasn't too bad. We just tried to make sure that it was as level as possible. We didn't really use a level, but we just made sure to stand on it so that it was planted down good and square it as level as we could see, as straight as we could.
And then did you hand sand the edges that were rough from the circular saw, or did you have a machine?
Anything else?
Next group.
What-
Two more questions.
I got a question. How'd y'all come up with the reasoning that your base is stronger
That our base is stronger?
dimensionally?
Does it work?
I don't know. I guess we just try to make it. It was more square than the other one, so we hope that it would hold better. Because having an angle to it is good, but at the same time, it's pretty sturdy. It'll hold the 300 pounds, 270, 300 pretty well. We've done a lot of testing with it. Like I stood on it multiple times before we came to class. So I'd say it did pretty good. Anything else?
Next group.
They were 2.5 inches.
Yeah. And they're a torque bit, so I think it was T25, which is pretty standard. So yeah, 2.5 inch screws. That's why we use the drill actually, like the drill bit, so that it wouldn't crack, even though it is softer wood for the dowels.
Did you cut that top out? You bought like that?
Yeah, it's cut from a piece of plywood. It's from a bigger piece. This is the smallest one I could find. So.
The next group, two questions.
Did you have fun?
Oh, for sure.
How long did you do?
20 minutes.
If that, it didn't take too much.
The last group, two questions. We have only 4 groups, so we have a lot.
Would you make any changes?
We made it a little bigger, or a little wider anyway.
Yeah, I'd say just a little bigger on the surface area up here. It just like barely fits my feet, so.
The one more question, final question.
Did y'all have a lot of spare materials after that?
The wood dowels, not really. We had one bad cut on one of them, so we actually did 5 cuts. And then there was just like about another leg's worth besides that bad cut. The plywood had more excess to it, but it was the smallest piece I could find at the time, so. It was a 2x2 piece of plywood. So we basically had like a little more than 3 square foot of it left.
Anything else? I think this is a great presentation, and I really like your chair. And the only thing I think is size. So definitely you need to work on it, but that's not your fault because we start with the default size. All right, next group, let's Group 5. Is the temperature okay in the room? Do you want more heat? It's fine. If you want to, over there.
All right, we are group 5, and this is our school.
Design process, Harris, Levi were involved. Start off with scan the class, and then Levi made a 3D model of the school. He gave us what dimensions to use. This is us at Lowe's. Me and Kyle were part of building the school and getting everything ready.
So this is us driving the Lowe's. Obviously ecstatic about building this school. So we went and bought just 2x4s. We got 3 like 4-foot 2x4s and ended up just getting them cut at Lowe's. That was probably the most painful process, was watching a guy try to cut these 2x4s. It took him about 45 minutes to make 8 cuts. So after we got the wood, we took it back to my garage and made sure all the dimensions were correct, sanded the wood down, and used a Craig jig, which is basically just like a pilot hole driller for making it easier so your wood doesn't crack. Put the screws in, and we just screwed it all together. And did several tests with our quality control department.
I'll show you a video after the presentation. Shoot some more pictures of Kyle building school. And he's still kind of mad at the Lowe's work. I did that really had to. Got fired immediately. And quality test, O'Neill and Lawson were involved in this. They stood on it, moved it around a little bit, didn't budge, everything worked good.
Okay, so you want to copy and paste that YouTube link and show us your video.
Not very long, but
That's a quick video of our manufacturing.
And YouTube is not the only one, right? So if you have like short clips, you can also go on TikTok and record this.
yeah, that's a video.
safety grade products.
Question time.
You have fun?
So you got the guy at Lowe's to cut it?
Yes. I didn't have that stuff for salt.
Oh, it's taking him so long.
So he was, I don't think he ever worked for salt before, but individually measuring out every single cut instead of like marking a piece of wood, but not using that same wood to keep, it was painful to watch. You had to like type in a code every single